Jujutsu Shenanigans. This is one of the most popular games on Roblox. I'm not really sure about the views right now. I kind of just want to make a video because I'm bored. Got nothing better to do, and plus I kind of want to start getting into this. But what I'm gonna be doing today is just making a tier list. So it's not gonna be too in depth, but it's not gonna be like too lazily made, which I think is pretty good. It just reduces time and makes it a little easier to understand. But speaking of tier lists and ranking, what we will be doing is putting them all on this tier list right here, from Gojo all the way to Kurochi, which is the newest character. And once we are done with that, that'll be the end. But basically, what the tier list is for is how good the characters in general. It's not going to be like, oh, the people who use it are chuds. Was combo potential of this, that. Well, I guess it's combo potential too would make it. But you get the point, just how good he is in general. So, how good it is. Alright, so obviously the first moveset, which is Honored One, is Gojo. It's the very first moveset in the game, which you spawn in as. Which, yeah, it's pretty good. I've showed you the moves, probably just, except for that one, because I can't hit it because I'm a chud. His moves are pretty easy to do, though. So he has Lapis Blue, Reversal Red, Rapid Punches, and Twofold Kick, which are all pretty easy to understand moves, unless you're a baby, kind of like my face. Anyways, Lapis Blue pulls you in, and you get kicked and sent flying. However, Lapis Blue is blockable, which kind of makes it like a gamble move, because it can also be very easily interrupted if you don't hit it. Another thing for Lapis Blue is that it has a variant when you kick them and use your okay, when you use your passive, I cannot do this for the life of me. Anyways, when you use your passive, you'll go up in the air and you will kick them back down, dealing extra damage. So that's pretty good. Reversal Red would be the next move. Just like Lapis Blue, it is blockable and interruptible. However, it is slightly harder to do, in my opinion. Because with Reversal Red, you can do that, and then it'll hit you for about 13 damage, 12.5 damage. However, if you block it, it only hits you for 6.5, which is about half. Pretty much half. Anyways, it does not break blocks, but it is a pretty good move because it does AoE, which is always very good. The next move would be Rapid Punches, which I might kill him here. But it's just a series of punches, pretty simple. A lot of characters have moves very similar to that or exactly like it. Obviously not animation-wise, but do the same thing. Rapid Punches, I do believe, has a variant. I'll have to check that because I don't play Gojo. Anyways, if you kick them, and then you use that, yep, and then you end up throwing them, and I kind of killed him. But basically, that would just allow you to combo extend with, like, blue or red, which is pretty good, in my opinion. Well, no, it is good, because he kind of needs to combo extend. But Gojo's a pretty combo character, otherwise you can freestyle him. A lot of characters in the game you can freestyle, which I think is a really good upside. But, anyways, the last move is Twofold Kick, which is pretty self-explanatory. You kick them twice. Let's give it. But basically, what you do is when a character is grounded or ragdolled, Twofold Kick can essentially hit them off the floor. So I'll demonstrate this by doing that. I'll kick them up and then I kick them down. Reversal Red can hit ragdolled and so can Lapis Blue. However, Rapid Punches cannot hit ragdolled and is blockable. Twofold Kick is the only move in Gojo's moveset, besides his ult, of course, in his base moveset, I should say, that is unblockable. I'm actually tweaking. Well, it is blockable for the first part. Your first part, which would be that upper, like the up kick, is blockable. However, the second kick, which is the down one, it is unblockable, which overall gives him a really good moveset to start off with. He's pretty simple to play, pretty easy to make combos with, even if you don't know how to play him. And then his special, obviously, I showed you the uses for the variants, which can be used to do extra damage, do other stuff. Like, and that also, it's pretty good. Along with his special, though, he does have a pretty cool ability where it does teleport him. So, as I just did, I should say, well, yes, you teleport up to a player, which is pretty good. And then Gojo's ult. I know I'm LARPing because I'm wearing a Utah avatar, but I don't really care right now because I don't have a Gojo avatar. I was using this for a different thing. Anyways, his ult moves are pretty good. So he has Lapis Blue Max, which is a very basic move. And then Reversal Red Max, pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure everyone's seen Color Purple. Has some nice music to it. When he's in his ult, his special does the same thing, so nothing really changes there. However, he does have a lot of good things about his ult, either way. One of those things is his domain expansion. The cool thing about Gojo's domain expansion, in my opinion, is that it completely stuns you. So, see this dummy right here? If it was a player, they wouldn't be able to move or fight back. I do think you regenerate while you are in his domain if you aren't hit, which is kind of a stupid thing. But you know what? It's okay. The next thing Gojo does have going for himself would be air variants. So all of his moves like that have an air variant where you can float for a minute, throw him around. And oh, he's alive. Anyways, as I was saying, they do have air variants, which makes them kind of prone or not prone. Well, it can make him defensed or not defensed. So, like, he can be vulnerable, but at the same time, he cannot be vulnerable. Depending on what character, which I'll kind of go into detail later. As for other things about Gojo's ult, he does have a couple variants of things. One of these would be the Reversal Red Max, where you hold... I can't do it. Well, it would be where you do it, hold your special, and then do a blank flash. Very good song. Anyways, going back to Gojo, he does have one final attack, which is... it's pretty good. So, when you have him about red HP, you use Lapis Blue Max, and see how it stays? Shoot a Reversal Red into it, and you have yourself a hollow nuke. Insane area and insane damage. I've seen it kill plenty of users, like people who use the move can get killed too, which I think is a cool addition, so it's not completely overpowered. But that's pretty much it for Gojo. Overall, Gojo's a really good character, both in base and in ult. He's got good damage output, and for sure, good abilities. Specials, good. Abilities are all... abilities are all good. And, yeah. Overall, in my opinion, if I had to put him anywhere... So we're gonna get out the tier list. Honestly, I think Gojo would definitely be in the S tier. He's definitely good. He's for sure good. In my opinion, at least. His ult is good. His base moveset's good. His special is good. It's just all that stuff. So, like, I don't think there's too much more to say about him, honestly. So, I guess we'll just go on to the next character. The next character on the list is Vessel, which, if you could guess, is Yuji Itadori. Yuji's pretty good, just like Gojo. He's got some pretty decent moves. Just like Gojo, he has his average punch move, which you can just combo extend. Crushing below, you can do that. Divergent Fist. And then Manji does a counter, which I'll showcase in a minute when I spawn a dummy, but I don't want to do that on camera because I have more to talk about for Yuji right now. Basically, though, all of his moves are pretty good to combo with. Cursed Strikes and Crushing Blow do have air variants. So, Cursed Strikes, like you saw, you do a little spin or whatever, jump up, and then you kick them down. And then Crushing Blow just sends you forward, kind of like a dash. And then you can hit them when they're ragdolled. So the cool thing, yeah, that's the cool thing about Curse Strikes and Crushing Blow. When they're ragdolled or grounded, you can still hit them, even with air combos. Well, air variants, I should say. My bad. And then Divergent Fist is a pretty good move. Not too bad. Cool thing about Curse Strikes, by the way, its finisher is Black Flash, which makes sense for Yuji, considering he's the Black Flash guy. But, Crushing Blow, do that. And then Manji Kick, that's just the strut-up animation for it. It's not really too important, but I'll still show it. But anyways, Yuji does have a cool ability. So you see how Divergent Fist has a move thing called Use Twice? That is his Black Flash. So, Black Flash has a couple variants, honestly. Well, no, it does have a lot of variants. But, the most notable variant of Black Flash would be its chain. Now, while I cannot do a chain for the life of me, what you basically have to do is just dash around them. Like, do this and do Divergent Fist at the same time. I cannot do it because I'm not that skilled at the game. But, you get the point. So, Yuji, overall, is a very good base moveset. From having a counter to air variant. Hold up. Where'd he go? That might be an issue. Hold on. Alright, anyways, we're back. I just spawned a new one, and then I spawned an attacking one to showcase Manji Kick. Manji Kick is pretty self-explanatory kicks and counters. Nothing too special about that. But overall, he's got a really cool base moveset, in my opinion. Cool thing with the special, you can fling trash cans at people, which is pretty funny. You can also feint attacks, which is kind of weird. It's mainly used for airs, so like if I use Crushing Blow, I use Curse Strikes. It's mainly used to kind of just do distance things. Like, you don't waste your move and put it on cooldown, but like... Okay, but as I was saying, you just don't waste your move, and it allows for a little bit of movement, which I think is pretty good for Yuji, considering he doesn't really have much movement, besides in his ult, which is actually a really good ult, honestly. Dismantle is a pretty... it's a nice move. And then his special is pretty much the same thing, it just sends them. Rush is... oh, I don't fall out the map. Now we're good. Rush is that. And then one of his better moves would be Open, which is Fuga. And yeah, you see how he kind of just got incinerated. And then the last move he has in his ult would be Malevolent Shrine. Anyways, for Yuji's ult, which is just Sukuna, considering it's just King of Curses, those are his moves. As for his M1s, he does have a special ability where he can use, it's like Dismantle or Cleave, and you can hit people from further away, which I think is a really cool touch, because it kind of makes it more unique compared to just normal M1s. His last move, I guess you could call it, well, yes, it is a move, but it's more a variant. I have no clue how to do it. It's World Cutting Slash, though. But World Cutting Slash itself can break domains and pretty much one-shot, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I got no clue how to... oh! Oh my god! Alright, whatever. Yeah, but... Yuji's ult is pretty good. I don't think it's as broken as Gojo's, like, by a long shot. Like, Gojo's, in my opinion, is just way better. Sukuna's best move in his ult being Fuga, or Open. which does a lot of damage and much more. But besides that, honestly, the only place I could really see Yuji going would be around A tier, in my opinion. He's good overall and is beginner friendly mostly, besides for his Black Flash variants, which require timing, which they aren't too hard, but still, it might take you a little bit to master them or even use it. So, that's why I think Yuji is a solid A tier. He's definitely a little harder than Gojo, but he's not better than Gojo. Gojo's just correct. Anyways, to the next character. The next character in Jujutsu Shenanigans. Oh my god, I can't talk. Anyways, the next character is Hikari, or Restless Gambler. He's actually a pretty good character, from having just even a Plinko ball to a really easy shutter door from Rough Energy, which is a pretty decent move, honestly. And then Fever Breaker, which I believe does the most damage out of those moves. He's decently good. He's way out there. He does have variants, so if you use reverse balls in 2, you'll make them go bounce on top of that. It used to just stun them in place, but they changed to that, which allows you to hit like Rough Energy or Fever Breaker if timed right. And speaking of Rough Energy, it does have a variant where if you jump and when you're coming back down, you press it again in air and it'll do that little down slam variant. Another thing you can do with Hikari is use... I'm actually gonna cry. Anyways. This is gonna take so long. Alright, well, if you miss shutter doors, a cool thing about it is you yourself can bounce on it, get height, and then you can use Rough Energy, which I think the higher you are, does a little bit more damage. But, yeah, Hikari's base is really easy to use, in my opinion. Like, most of his moves hit on the ground, like Reserve Balls and then Rough Energy, both variants hit from grounded. And then Shutter Doors does not hit while grounded, but it is a pretty good move for just stunning overall. But for Hikari's ultimate, there is something a little special you have to do, which, any day now, which, is this. To use 2 visual abilities to advance through each scenario. So, what that means is you have Reserve Balls, Shutter Doors, Fever Breaker, and then Hikari Special, which is a counter. Basically, Reserve Balls counts as 1, and then Shutter Doors counts as 2. So, see how that worked? And now, I get a cutscene here, which, to just speed this up, I will spawn a dummy and an attacking dummy. So, Hikari's that special, which is the counter, counts. And then Fever Breaker as well. You have to hit it, specifically both his counter and his Fever Breaker have to be hit to make it. But you just have to keep doing this until you essentially get your jackpot, which is Hikari's ult. However, unlike most other ults, Hikari's ult is not guaranteed. I think that's a cool thing that they included because Hikari is mainly not like... Well, he's a luck-based character, which I think is really cool to add. It adds a lot. It adds variety. So, like, see how I just failed that there? What I can do is go again, which I'm just gonna cut to when I get the jackpot because I'm sure you don't want to see me do that all again. Here we go. And this is the jackpot. Has a pretty nice song to it. It's Trippin' Out in Love by Ashley Collins. Great song, which I actually don't know if that's going to get me copyrighted or not, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for a minute. But, Hikari is it is special, just like in the manga. For 4 minutes and 11 seconds, he is immortal. Obviously, his ult doesn't last 4 minutes and 11 seconds, or that would be way too overpowered, which would instantly boot him up to probably even above S tier at that point. But he is immortal, in his jackpot state at least. his moves are pretty easy to do in here, so if I just go ahead and spawn, like, a normal dummy, Lucky Volleys are pretty much just a bunch of punches, and then that. Lucky Rush Down, you run at him, and then you throw him. Overwhelming Luck is a pretty good move. You kind of just, like, run around them and, like, punch them, and yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. Hikari's ult, though, is just overall really good. And there's no way to say it's not, pretty much. At least, I think. As for his special, it does get replaced, where he does the little dance. Basically, see how that was faster? It just boosts the speed of his moves. So every move, every time he does it, is a little faster. Same damage output, but it allows you to pull off moves much faster, so you get more usage out of your ultimate, if you know what I mean. But that's really about it for Hikari. He's a pretty simple character, but just like the other two that I've showed, that doesn't mean he's bad. He's actually a really good character. So if we're gonna go put him on the tier list, I'd put him right under Gojo. And honestly, my only reason for putting him here and, like, not above Gojo, despite him being immortal in his ult, is because, unlike Gojo, his domain, you can still die in it, which, unless Maharaga, which I'll explain when we get to this guy right here, which is the next character, unless you're Maharaga and adapt to Gojo's domain, unless it breaks from the outside, you're pretty much dead, assuming he has all his moves. But I guess I'm babbling on about Hikari a little too much, so I might as well just get on with the next character, if you know. Anyways, the next character on the list is Megami, otherwise just known as 10 Shadows, which is his technique. Yeah, so all of his moves target. I just think that's funny, because it makes him really, really easy to use. Rabbit Escape targets, Niue targets, Toad targets, Divine Dog Totality targets. He is insanely overpowered, in my opinion. He's really annoying to fight against. His special makes you become a puddle, which, if I get item, after I'm done showcasing all the other stuff, you'll see what I mean. So Megami has insane combo potential, and he has variants. So Toad plus... Okay, I don't need Niue. Toad plus Niue launches them in the air, which allows you to go into Rabbit Escape, and then Niue, assuming you didn't waste it like I did by accident. And then Divine Dog doesn't have any variants. However, Rabbit Escape does, which it's being... When you go into your puddle, you can jump up. And, see how Megami has really annoying combos, but he's a good character to play as, but fighting against him is just horrid. But that's not the point of the video. Megami is pretty simple, so if I go ahead in here and just buy a random item, alright? So, I have a sniper. Yes, this is a real JDS item. So, I use my... You know, I forgot. You can't use your special with moves that have special things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and waste this sniper. Let's see, can I get him? Wait, let's watch this. Boom. Oh. I got him yet. Alright, next item. Let's see if I can get something that I can work with this time. A banana peel. Yeah, I can work with this. So if I use my special... That wasn't supposed to happen. I bought another item. No, it's the banana peel then. If I use my special... it gets stored. So, I permanently have that item while I'm in the server. So if I leave the server and join a new one, I lose it. However, if I go in it, M1, I get the item back. And I'm allowed to use it, which is, I think is pretty cool. As for his ult, only 3 moves is what he really has for his ult. Max Elephant is, I'll display it out here because I'm not going to go with that guy. Smacks Elephant causes damage all around. For the Snake, which is Great Serpent, you carry people. Shadow Swarm, you run at people. Kick them. Yeah, Megumi's ult is not great. I just gotta be honest here. He's not that good in his ult. However, he does have one move that does make him worthwhile playing, assuming you're in the thrill for a little bit of a mystical with this sacred treasure I summon. Oh. Maharaga. Now, as much as I would like to do Maharaga right now, I do want to save him for another, well, the next part of the video, because this one's getting long and I don't want to drag it on forever. So I want to save him for the next video, which will also be covering another character that has another form, which is coming up soon. So, but basically, Megumi does have Raga. Maharaga has plenty of different things for himself. But if I had to go ahead and rank Megumi as his own, like, character, I could only really see him being around an A tier under Yuji, honestly. I mean, he's really simple to use and really annoying to play against, but overall, besides that, it's just his ult is just bad. Like, compared to Yuji, okay? Yuji has a good moveset and a good ult. So, honestly, for having a really bad ult but a good moveset, I think I'm going to still put Yuji above him. And that leads us to the next character, which is Perfection, which is also just Mahito. Yippee! Alright. Anyways, Mahito. As I was saying before, for Mahito, he's kind of like Yuji and the other characters. The characters don't really start getting unique until Lead Manipulator onwards, which will be in the next part because this is already almost 30 minutes. So, yeah. Anyways, Mahito is pretty simple until you get more. So you stockpile, which pretty much just does that. Soul Fire is like a little gun, which reshoots like her spirits. Focus Strike is a punch. And Body Repel. You cannot do that with a worm. You can aim Body Repel, which is pretty cool. Stockpile has an air variant, which I failed because I'm a chud. But another fact about Stockpile, so I don't have to show it. When a character is grounded or ragdolled, you can hit them with Stockpile and it'll still hit them on the ground. Same with Soul Fire, which will also hit grounded opponents. As for the air variant, it's just a purple hammer. It breaks block, which is pretty nice. So the purple hammer always breaks block. The green one, which is the start of it, which is like that part of like, say you're doing an M1 copy, like your first M1, your second M1. Green hammer doesn't break combo rec. Whoa. I'm tweaking out. Okay, yeah, get the point though. Focus Strike, just like Yuji, it has a Black Flash. The thing about Focus Strike, however, is if you miss the Black Flash variant, it will not tell you if you did a Black Flash successfully or not. So, that's something about Mahito, which I think is pretty dumb. So watch. Right timing, all that, doesn't give you any effects, which is kind of dumb. As for other things he has the worm, which can be aimed, like I said. And then there is a variant of it, which I will show when it's off cooldown. But as for grounded, second hit on that, it's down. Soul Fire, it's down. And then, I do not believe... Okay, Focus Strike does hit grounded, so that's my bad. Anyways, Focus Strike plus 3 will allow you to basically go into your worm, and it'll send you forward, which is pretty good. All around, Mahito's a pretty good character. Yeah. For his special, he does have kind of like two specials, if you would say. His first part of the special gives him kind of like knife hands, I'd say. These ones, when you dash, they do damage instead of M1s. However, if you notice, instead of a normal M1, it does less damage. So, less damage, but mobility and... yeah. And then there's also the variant of Focus Strike, which is that. And then his second form is Big Hands, Louder in Time. These ones are slow, do more damage, but they break block, which is pretty good. And then they have a variant too, where you fucking punch. But that's Mahito's, like, normal moveset, plus his specials. As for his ult, kick it up a notch here. Literally, kind of. Idle Transfiguration. You have to hit it twice, so when I get it back, I'll show you that in here. What happens in this game kind of buns? Like, I just have to sit here for like 10 seconds and figure out, like, what am I gonna say next? Anyways, Idle Transfiguration, you hit it again on a person, they explode. That is the simplest way to put it. So we're gonna spawn another dummy here. Body Disfiguration. Well, if you hit it, it'll do a little drill. It doesn't do too much damage, but it's pretty good. Spike Wrath is a pretty good move overall. It can grab a ton of people, and you slam them down, which allows for Idle Transfiguration or Body's Disfigure. I don't know what the special does, I never figured it out. And then the last thing I will be showing off today in the video is Self-Embodiment of Perfection, which is Mahito's dummy. So you kind of see how he exploded right there? I'm just gonna reset. Basically, in his domain, if you get close to anyone for enough time, they will explode. That was the variant for Body Repel, by the way. But basically, that's all for the video. This part of the video. I'll be doing more, and I'll be showcasing Mahito V2 along with Raga in the very last part. But to get it out of the way, I would say Mahito. He's a good character, and he actually does have a lot of ways. He can kill Hikari, even if he's an ult, which I think, honestly, he's better than Yuji. I'm definitely going to give him that. So far, a lot of the characters are doing good. There's not too many that are bad. But that's basically all for the video, so I'll be seeing you guys next time.